Warning, warning, the TSI, in all of its beautiful simplicity, is one of my top 50 indicators. Remember when I used to do that? Rank my indicators? I don't anymore, but the TSI is definitely there, but not in the form we're about to show you today, at least not at first. Do you still follow me? It's okay if you don't. We'll get into it. So yes, what I said is correct. I don't really rank my indicators anymore, but I can say with confidence because I used this thing for a long time as my main confirmation indicator. And today, 8 some odd years later after the channel began, we are about to bring this to you. Now, the interesting thing is, with my travel schedule, it's finally over, thank God. Dan and I did not get to collaborate much on this. So Dan just kind of did his own thing, and it just happened to be on this particular indicator. So what I'm going to do is we're going to show you Dan's way, which produced some really nice results, and you need to test his way in your system. And then at the very end, or towards the end of this video, I will tell you my way. All right? So if you're new and you don't know what we're talking about or doing here, understand. Enjoy the video. This is the #1 indicator channel in all of YouTube. It always was. It will always be this way. But what we're going to talk about is not going to make a lot of sense. So instead of going to the comments section and asking silly questions, go here instead. Go to nononsenseforex.com, read the first page, watch the first video, get yourself caught up. It is absolutely worth it. For the rest of you who have already done so, let's get into the stats for the TSI. The year is going to be 1991. This is just outside, of course, of the 1996 and on threshold we like to see. So the fact that an indicator is so relatively simple and not, it is detached from the RSI, just not like a whole lot, and was created in 1991, and still was an indicator I used a lot in my own algorithm after testing so many, really speaks volumes about just how great this indicator is. Now, it's going to be a confirmation indicator. In the version I am about to show you, it's going to be a zero cross. Again, towards the end, I will tell you an alternate way. And as far as an exit indicator goes, in either version I am showing you today, I don't like either one as far as exits go. So with all that said, let's go ahead and take a look at version 1 of the TSI indicator. And the zero cross version is going to look like this, of course. Very simple if you don't know what zero crosses are for some reason. When the red line here crosses and closes above this zero line, that is your signal to go long. And when it does the opposite, that is your signal to go short. Now, haters will come in and say, well, you trashed the RSI so bad. You have a slightly modified version called the TSI. Now all of a sudden it's the next greatest thing. Again, if you want to go to the blog, which the description is down below, you can see just how different this is from the RSI. 2, I've always said, most of the greatest indicators out there are just derivatives of 5 or 6 older indicators, but they are improvements on those indicators. 3, we have tested the RSI and the CCI on the indicator profile series, and we have shown you how neither one of them would have come close to making the grade here on the indicator profile series. Everything we are showing you is in the upper echelon of indicators, including this version right here. So with that said, let's go ahead and get to the results, but also that said, let's get to this part here. It's very important. You need to test these in your own system. Test Dan's version, test VP's version. One of them is going to do better. All of our systems are very different. And if you do not test both versions, you are making a huge mistake. The TSI is not a super obscure indicator. You may have tested this before, but did you test it as a zero cross? Did you test it with the settings that we show you in the blog? Did you test it in the method that I'm about to disclose towards the end of this video? Probably not, so you need to go back and redo all of this. Now, if you're confused as to how to do any of this, you're in luck because down below, in the description, we have a link to my automation blog. And in that blog, it has an embedded video showing you how to test this indicator yourself on the MT4 strategy tester. All indicators we do here are on MT4. Is this on MT5 or TradingView? Probably. Like I said, not super obscure. You just got to search for it. It's not hard. And also the blog. You're definitely going to want to consult the blog now and pretty much every time you watch one of these videos, in particular for the tweaked settings that we don't show you here. Also, Dan has a YouTube channel showing you this thing moving in real time on the 1-minute chart, showing you that it doesn't repaint, which is important, and also adds a few bits of information that I do not. So keep that in mind. In the future, if you have an indicator you want to have us profile, we will do that. We have done it in the past, but there's a special email address you need to send that to. And then don't forget the most popular place in all of the world, really. I think we're #1 now. The Indicator Library, where you can download the TSI and all of the indicators we have profiled here on the Indicator Profile series. Let's go ahead and take a look at how this thing did as a zero cross. On the EURUSD, fairly average. Again, we have lately showed you some indicators on the EURUSD that have gotten into the 10s, which is completely bananas. This is a lot more rational. This is about what you would expect for an upper tier indicator like this, and that's what we see here. But remember too, I really like the amount of signals it gives you. I love, love, love the win-loss ratio. To have 19 signals and still pull off a win-loss ratio like that is pretty special. You may want to give this a run in your system. Let's go ahead and move over to gold. Again, I would say fairly average. Towards the beginning, once we started doing things this new way, testing on a 3-year period, we would see ROIs closer to 10, and then they started getting higher, and now we're back down to here, which I would say now would be, again, about average. Let's go to the S&P. Average again, except for one thing, it's this 4 signals, which I don't really love. Keep in mind when you add other pieces to it, that number generally goes down. So unless you just hate trading indices but do it anyway, maybe look elsewhere here, because even to crank out what is probably an average ROI from what we've seen, this is what we ended up with. On to Bitcoin, and I would say average again. I would say this thing performs like it should based on our criteria all across the board. Lower signals for sure, but also very high win-loss ratio. So I would say this one pretty much went right smack dab in the middle all across the board, except for maybe a S&P 500 with the amount of trades. But the money shot here, as far as I personally go, is instead of treating this as a zero cross, I would do 2 things. 1, smooth it out really well, and 2, put a moving average on it. If you don't know how to do this, or if you have forgotten, I made a video on it. You can go to my channel, just type in moving average. It should pop right up. When I first started this channel, and I talked about my top 100, top 50 indicators, I made some people angry because I wasn't just sharing it with them for no reason. They actually had to do work themselves, and that made them angry. But I figure if you have stuck with us this long, every once in a while I think it's okay to kind of bleed one of these out. Not the first time I've done it, I don't think. I think we've also done a top 50 indicator on the Indicator Profile series in the past. I'm drawing a blank as to which one it was. But there you go. I think one of these could operate quite well in your system. You at least need to test and try. But what you also need to do is subscribe and hit the bell. You don't want to miss anything on this channel. We do stuff like this all the time, apart from the 2 podcasts I already have that come straight to YouTube, the Trading Psychology Podcast and the 10-Minute Contrarian Investor Podcast. It is all things finance here, traders. Subscribe, hit the bell, put in the work, and go get it.